See my bed and bougie. She wanna drink on Tuesday. Shawty sipping on a Bombay. A long way from coolin'. See my bed and bougie. She wanna drink on Tuesday.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kay here. To begin, the thing I think everyone dreads the most happened to me starting this. To begin, the wildest thing that has happened to me this year is that I got COVID. Yes, the deadly COVID-19 virus. I was diagnosed with that, yeah. Where do I even begin this story? So a few months ago, even though I know the year just began, so but a few months ago, my sister was feeling some type of way and I was telling her, yo, keep your COVID to yourself, don't give me your COVID, blah, blah, blah. I pointed, yo. I did not shut up about how she should keep her COVID to herself and not give it to me, although I was in her room every single day, so I don't expect how she wasn't meant to give it to me. The only symptoms I had, or I look back on that I had for COVID, were that I had sniffles for a day. I was literally sick for a day. I had sniffles, which isn't not normal for me because sometimes I just wake up with a stuffy nose, or just wake up and I'm sneezing, or I have days where I just sneeze uncontrollably. It's so normal. I'm probably allergic to something. I probably do have allergies, but that's that. So I didn't pay mind to it. Then my sister was complaining of body aches and general tiredness, and I was just yo, that sounds real COVID-y to me. Keep that to yourself, boo. The only other symptom you could say I had was fatigue. But then again, listen, I'm a very tired person. So it wasn't an abnormal tired. It was my normal level of tired. I take naps all the time. I function on sleep. So didn't pay mind to it at all. Because of the way my sister was describing the way she was feeling, my dad decided to take us all to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. That was on a Saturday to just check our vitals. Although at the hospital we went to, we didn't get COVID tested. You would think that they would make it a requirement that even if you're feeling other symptoms, just get COVID tested. But we didn't get COVID tested, not one bit, not for anything. So at the hospital, we had our blood drawn, we had BP, whatever your vitals taken, and we had a full blood count at the hospital. Obviously, there was nothing abnormal in us. Our temperatures were fine. According to the doctor, everything was normal. She said for me that my white blood cells were a little more, implying they're fighting something. Obviously, I had sneezed a bit, so I figured they were just fighting off allergies or whatever sneezing fit I had. So again, didn't pay mind to it. We move on. I think must have been a Saturday or Friday or something. So we move on into the following week. My sister still feeling some type of way. And my aunt, who's a medical doctor, tells my dad, listen, the way this kid is feeling, your best bet is to just go get COVID tested because you should have gotten COVID tested. I don't know why you didn't. Also, forgot to add, when we went for our first hospital visit, we actually met a subscriber. He was the one who drew our blood. Shout out to you, good sir, if you're watching this. Yeah, we had COVID. Luckily, we didn't spread it to you. So my aunt suggested to my dad that, look, listen, if their blood and vitals are okay, their temperature is not high or anything like that, just get COVID tested to rule it out as a possibility so you can find the root of the problem. Let me tell y'all, I was so excited to get COVID tested. This whole pandemic, I've just wanted to know how it feels because I've seen so many people making videos about how it goes all the way to your brain. I was low-key excited to know what a COVID test feels like, so I was ready and down to go get it done. I was so hyped up for my COVID test. I woke up bright and early and I said, I'm gonna go get something stuck up my nose today. We ended up at Fairview to get COVID tested. They do the rapid tests. Just our luck. We showed up there late, okay, to be fair. So when we got there, they said that they had ran out of test kits. And we're just are you kidding me? I was if I'm meant to quarantine, I want to start quarantining now. I can't be waiting until tomorrow. I want to get this out of my way. I don't know where, but somehow they found COVID tests. I don't know if they fell out of the air and landed at the hospital, but they found 3 COVID tests. So Yums, Jeff, and I were getting COVID tests. As for the COVID test itself, it wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever experienced in this world. It was just uncomfortable. The thing is, like, the guy put it up my nose, right? And then, like, I was like, oh, this is not too bad. Then he pushed it in further. Then I'm like, okay, oh, like, this is a little, but I can deal. And then he starts turning it and turning it and turning it. I'm like, sir, you've collected your sample by now. If I have COVID, what you've thingied is enough to tell that I have it, if I have it. But this man just kept turning in my nose, and like my eye teared, because I mean, it's normal. Like, that far back, it like kicked, it's like a reflex. I didn't cry, my eye just teared. Although he was very sweet, I have to admit, because he gave me a warning. He was like, this is gonna be a little uncomfortable, but you know, you'll be fine. But still, sir, if you see this, you had enough of my sample. Post getting swabbed, the results take like 2 hours or something like that. So we went home, had lunch, and then headed back to the hospital. After lunch, I was even laughing about how Nyemba's gonna be in isolation. And she can't move nowhere, stay away from me. We go back to the hospital and we go to the receptionist to pick up our COVID results. So he just hands us our papers. He's like, what's your name? Here. What's your name? Here. So Nyemba looked at hers first and she starts laughing, right? I looked at mine, and on like the COVID blah blah blah, it said positive. I said, huh? The COVID I was telling Nyemba to keep to herself, I had. It was my COVID. Like, having COVID wasn't funny, but it was so funny that like I literally punted. I did not shut up about how she should keep her COVID to herself. I don't want it. Don't get me sick. Da 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 da. And I had it too. It was our COVID. It was my COVID. Like, guys, I was so sure that like my paper would say negative and that hers would be positive. I was sure that mine, Jeff's, whatever, it would be negative and hers would be positive. And I just looked. I said, positive? Something ain't right, but I know it ain't me. I literally played myself. In this life, do not play yourself. But yeah, like I really just had a whole laughing fit. It wasn't like really like loud laughing fit, but Yems and I were just like kikiing because like COVID is so serious, but then like what could we do at that point? It was on our systems. We just had to laugh through the pain because what else are we doing? If you don't laugh, you'll cry, and laughing is my coping mechanism. After finding out that we had COVID, we had to go see the doctor. So the doctor made us get full blood count again to make sure everything was okay. I don't hate needles. I actually quite prefer needles to tablets, so I was calm. And we also had to get our vitals done. Everything in my system was normal except obviously a higher amount of antibodies because obviously I had something impure in my system, so I was trying to fight it off. But this doctor that we had was so chill. He was literally telling us like, don't worry, you'll be fine. COVID isn't the end of the world. He was like, so many patients have come today who have tested positive. He's like, you guys will be fine. Like, don't worry about it. He was just there like, you know, you'll be good. He was literally telling us not to feed into the hysteria that the media has been putting out and that we would be fine, we would live, we wouldn't die. He told me I was asymptomatic, which I already knew because I literally did not have the telltale signs of COVID, aside from my sniffles for a day, but that, like, when I went to the hospital by then, I wasn't sniffling, nothing, so I was asymptomatic. He prescribed a bunch of medicines for us to take for the 2-week period, obviously. I was taking around 10 to 12 pills a day, and I hate taking pills with my life. I can't swallow tablets for nobody, but it was either swallow the tablets or let the COVID get worse, let it get to my lungs and potentially die. So I had to pick my poison, you know? Aside from like the medications they prescribed to you for COVID, I was also taking aspirin because people say aspirin helps with like preventing blood clots, and COVID causes blood clots. So if you ever do get COVID and want treated at home, aside from what they give you, get aspirin or ask if you should get aspirin. My dad was so worried about us, so worried. This man actually asked the doctor, are they allowed to open the windows in their room? Like, of course we are. So for the first 2 days of COVID diagnosis, we were confined to our bedrooms. Actually, the night we were diagnosed with COVID, I came to my room and I had a crying fit that night because I didn't want to eat, and then they were forcing me to eat, and I was just sad that I had COVID, and it was not good. I didn't like being in my room. I didn't like it, not one bit. So for the first 2 days, we were literally just in this quarter of the house, like in our rooms, bathroom, whatever. And did not like it, not one bit. But then a few days later, my aunt came over and she's like, no, the yard is big enough. Like they can come outside, get fresh air, get some vitamin D. Like they're supposed to do that. Like let them sunbathe, get them vitamins, and just breathe so you don't feel that confined. I mean, obviously we're trying to not get my dad and everyone else sick, right? But we could have at least been in the yard. Like we're not trying to spread COVID to other members of our family, but like the yard is big enough for us to be on one end and someone on the other side and not get COVID, you know? So yes, after seeking counsel from medical professionals, we were allowed to go outside, and that would be the highlight of my day. I just go outside, sit down on the veranda, or like I'd go to the front yard, just sit on the grass, hang out with the dogs. These by far had to be the longest 2 weeks I've ever experienced in my life. Like I was counting down the days until I was COVID free. I was like, oh, 1 day down, 13 more days to go. I was like, yo, I was so mentally defeated. And the thing is, in quarantine or whatever, or isolation, it you have is time. But I was so mentally defeated that I didn't want to do anything. I was just wallowing in my sadness the whole 2 weeks, just feeling so sorry for myself. I would literally wake up I had to wake up in the morning because I had medicine to drink, but then I'd stay in my bed the whole day and then go bath at like 3 p.m. and that's not my character. I'm the type of person to bath in the morning and be semi-productive, so bathing at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. to repeat the same cycle, that's not me, but that was how my days were being spent. Another thing is I didn't vlog during COVID because I literally had no zeal to even pick up a camera. I was so sad. I didn't want to pick up a camera. I couldn't do it, so there's no footage of me with COVID, sorry. 2 weeks later, we went back and we were declared COVID free! And we went and got some KFC to celebrate being COVID free, and that was awesome. Moving on, the other thing that has been going on in my life is like about a month ago, child, I was in the pits. Like something happened to me and I was so sad for literally weeks, like so sad. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was barely a human being. You know that sadness where you can feel your stomach doing up like turning and you're trying to eat and you take 2 bites and you're full? Mentally, I was not good. Not one bit. I was very sad and I couldn't function. I would like to think I'm in a better mental space now, but then it was bad, guys. Like, as small as I am, I lost more weight. Imagine that. What happens if I lose weight? I'll remain with nothing. So the worst part was this like depressive episode, or what happened was like on a Thursday, like this week on a Thursday, right? And then the following week on a Tuesday, I had my mock exams. Oh, let's just say they didn't go well because mentally, Tessa and I wasn't there. I had exams, school had been stressing me, this other thing was also stressing me. Mental breakdown, like, yo. So yeah, I'm not gonna like say what happened, but just know I was in a really bad depressive episode, and that's why, like, if you noticed, I was taking gaps in between posting my content, because I remember that week I was meant to upload some video, but then what happened, so I couldn't get myself to edit or get myself to be a person really, so I didn't upload. So I think I went on like a 3-week hiatus, came back, uploaded something, then I went off again. That's like the stress from school now. So please bear with me when I'm not uploading or not on like my best, or my, like, you know, I'm going through it sometimes. Then moving on, the school stress. I have my exams in May, my mocks were terrible. Life has just been hectic. A-levels are the pits. I want to have a mental breakdown every single day. But we move because why not? I'm just very stressed with life, school, and I don't even know what else. So yeah, this is what has been going on the last couple months in my life. Like a brief highlight of everything that's been happening to me. Thank you for hearing me out and ranting, and yeah. So stay safe, mask up, COVID is everywhere. You literally don't know where you can get it, and just be safe, honestly. Alright, see you guys when I upload next. Bye.
Came in and I took your shawty like a robbery. I was on my bullet train, nigga, ain't no